there, what's up? My name is Abbs Stoiber, my pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I am a junior in the BFA acting program here at UC Santa Barbara. If you're watching this, it is probably because either A, you are an incoming freshman that wants to learn more about the Theater and Dance Department, 2, you are a freshman or a sophomore that hasn't had a chance to come on campus yet due to the pandemic, or 3, you're already a student at UCSB and maybe even involved in the Theater and Dance Department, but you just want to learn more. And I will also be answering questions that for me came up a lot when I was first here as a freshman, and also questions I've gotten a lot from just other students who I've talked to about the Theater and Dance Department. And I just want to help clear the air on some stuff and make the information about the Theater and Dance Department more accessible. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I'm currently on the lawn. Ooh, sun. But this is kind of the main courtyard of the theater side of the department. But up here behind me, you also have, right just past there is the Student Resource Center, but then you also have all of these bike racks. So if you come to UCSB with a bike, this is where you can park it, and it's super easy, and it's right here, and it's super nice. So I'm gonna walk over here, and right where these massive double doors are, this is one of the main theater, black box theaters and studios that a lot of the acting students will use, and it is the famous 1507. This is one of the main rooms that, especially students in the BFA, they mostly do movement and voice classes in this studio, and I believe also some acting classes as well. So there's that, and there's the big double doors, and they actually open all the way, and so especially for COVID, it's really nice to be able to have those open and you have lots of air coming through the space, and it's just all around a super nice little location. This is also another studio. There's actually a little stage here, and then right in this area, there's a different room that's another black box theater. And if you walk over here, you can see this is one of the entrances that you can get to offices of teachers from the inside that are on the first floor. And then also, if you kept going this way, you would reach 1507. For undergraduates, there is the BA programs and the BFA programs, and both the theater and dance sides of the department have a BA and BFA. There are also graduate programs, mostly for theater studies. So if you want to continue to a graduate program to continue your education, unfortunately, UCSB doesn't really have that, and so you would have to look at other schools for graduate programs. However, that does come with perks. The perk of not having any major graduate programs is that all of the shows are very much undergrad based. And so all of the focus for the actors, the designers, the dancers, it's all focused on getting experience for those undergraduates. Another question that you might have is, can I rent rooms to rehearse in, have other like rehearsals and stuff? Yes, but you have to be in the major or minor at the Theater and Dance Department. There is actually a poster here that talks about it, because you are allowed to rent rooms. There's a specific way to do it, and you do it through the Theater and Dance website, which I will make sure to put a link to the Theater and Dance website down below. But you have to be a major minor, and if you're not, you would talk to Daniel Herrera, as he's kind of in charge of the room renting situation. So if you're not a major or minor, he's the guy you would talk to. And with that, we're gonna go in the spooky hallway. So there's an elevator that goes up to the second floor. There's also stairs at the end as well, at the other end. But this right here is the design classroom, where all of the design classes mostly take place. If you take Theater 19, that is the classroom that you will end up in. If you're looking to major or minor in design, that's the class that you should take first. and is usually offered in summer and fall. And then the others within the series of the introductory design courses, they are taught in separate quarters. So make sure you keep an eye on that. One of the biggest questions that I've gotten from especially freshmen is, do you need to be a theater major or minor or dance major minor to be involved in the shows? The answer for the theater department is no. For the dance department, it's different because all of the shows are specifically for the dance majors. But in terms of acting in shows, you do not need to be a major. Anyone can audition, anyone can be involved. And if you're interested in getting involved behind the scenes and with stage crew, that also you don't need to be a major for. If you talk to any of the faculty members about your interest in being involved in the department and in shows, they will find some place for you to be involved. And where you want to go for that actually leads me to my next spot, which is right over here, which is the production office. There's several offices in here with some of the design teachers and the stage production teachers and professors. And one of the important things to know about this section is that this is where all of the cast lists and audition sheets are. Over the pandemic, they were all online and you would sign up through Google Docs, but usually there is a bulletin board just in there. Sometimes the cast list will go up on this glass part right here, but usually you will find audition information and cast list information. And if, again, you're interested in stage crew, this is the place you want to go to talk to people about that. And if you also just want to buy tickets for the show, or this is where you'll go to pick up your tickets when you attend a show, Will Call is right next to the production office. And as you're biking, you actually see it on your way to other classes, which is really cool. This is just another angle of the building where some other classes besides theater and dance classes take place, and also there's another black box theater. The Hatland Theater. This is one of the two main theaters that we use in the theater and dance department, but the Hatland Theater is our proscenium arch theater, which is what most people consider the big square, and actors are up on a elevated stage and with the audience facing towards them. It's the theater that most people associate with going to see a show for. So that is the Hatland Theater. And there's a couple entrances, but these are where like audiences enter from. These are doors here to the studio theater. This is mostly used for smaller projects, especially for BFA acting. They have some smaller department meetings here for students and faculty. And the theater and dance kickoff event usually takes place in the studio theater. At least that's how it was when I first came to UCSB. But it's a nice little black box theater. It's instead of the actors being on a risen platform and everyone being on the floor, it's the other way around and all of the audience goes up. That's the best I can explain it, not my best. And that is a place where also auditions for shows for specifically theater usually take place, is in the studio theater. So if you do a lot of auditioning for shows, that's going to be an important place to know about. So right now I am behind the Hatland Theater through just those double doors, which are right at the entrance, right next to the studio theater on the other side. But this is where most classes will end up meeting, especially for the practicums, which all theater majors and minors take at some point at UCSB. But basically, this is where all of the design places are. So I'm gonna just walk over here. Just through this door, you will mostly find everything for specifically costumes and lighting and sound. For some classes, you end up meeting just right out here in this nice little space, but you will go through these double doors, and when you go in straight on your right and down, there's the basement, and that's where lighting and sound classes take place. And then upstairs is the costume practicum space and where the costume lab is. There is also, like I said, costumes, lighting and sound, and then of course, scenic design. And so just over here, there's the door to the scenic lab, but then there's also the garage to the scenic lab, and just right there is Stork Tower. They have all of the workshops in there, and there's a lot of cool stuff that you can find and just peruse around. And then there's also, within the hallway of these double doors, you will find a backstage entrance to the Hatland Theater. So there's that, and that's really cool. So right behind me is one of the entrances to the Performing Arts Theater, but everyone mostly refers to it as the PAT. It's a really cool space. It is another kind of black box theater with bleacher seats. And what's really cool about this theater is that it's a fairly small and intimate space, much more intimate than the Hatland Theater, but it also has bleacher seats that you can kind of take in and out, and you can have the audience rearranged in any way that you'd like to fit the style of your show and to have the best audience experience. So you can have audiences view it straight on. You can have more than 2 sets of seats to where there's an audience on either side of the actors. So with the PAT Theater, you can kind of do all sorts of cool stuff with it. And the PAT Theater also has all of the dance spaces for dancing students. So any classes for the dance department, for ballet, modern, you will find them all within the PAT Theater. And there's a couple ways that you can get into the PAT Theater. There's the main entrance doors, and then you can also enter from the sides, and which is what is this one. This is one of the side ones that you can enter from, and there's one directly on the opposite side, right next to the Thunderdome, and then the main entrance, like I said before. But yeah, like I said, the PAT Theater is a really cool theater and is the second theater that is used between the Hatland and then the PAT. Regardless of whether you are planning on being a major or a minor in the theater and dance department, or you just want to be involved and you are in a separate major, there's plenty of opportunities to get involved, and that's a question that even current students at UCSB ask a lot about, is how to get more involved. And so I'm going to scoot this way. Here's a list of specifically organizations and clubs and programs specifically associated with the theater and dance department. So they are actual department organized clubs and programs. So, and I'm sure this doesn't cover all of them, but this is a great place to get started and some programs to look into. Now I'm gonna scoot this way. And here you go. Here is a list of programs and clubs and organizations that are not associated with the theater and dance department, but are also great outlets for theater and dance. So even if you're unsure or not able to do something with the theater and dance department for a certain quarter or a certain period of time, there's plenty of other opportunities outside the theater and dance department to still do theater and dance. There's probably plenty more opportunities besides the ones I just listed inside and outside the department. So it's just a matter of talking to people within the department, and all of the professors in the theater and dance department, they are all very kind people, and if you approach them and say, hey, I want to get more involved, how do I do that? They will be more than willing to help guide you through the theater and dance department and get you where you want to be. So like I said, you can go to the production office, and then there's on the first and second floor tons of offices with lots of amazing professors and teachers who are willing to talk to you about how to get more involved. You can find the offices to the academic advising on the second floor. You can also go to the elevator that I showed earlier. You will find the major advisor. His name is Sean O'Shea at the time that I'm recording this. He is a fantastic person to talk to if you want to talk about being a major or a minor in the theater and dance department. He's the person that you want to talk to. And there's also Erwin Apple. His office is in there, and he is the chair of the Theater and Dance Department as a whole. And the vice chair is Christina McCarthy, who is also kind of the head of the dance department. And then she's the vice chair of the entire Theater and Dance Department. So those are kind of the main people in terms of overall general getting involved. They're going to be the ones that you initially go for answers, and then of course there's more professors that you can talk to. And there we go, that's pretty much it. So I hope that you enjoyed this little tour of the Theater and Dance Department area. Of course, there's so much more information and so many other places to check out here on campus. But like I said, for more information about the Theater and Dance Department, you can go on their website, of course, which I will make sure to link down below in the description of this video. But I hope that this little tour kind of helps you, so that way once you're in person on campus, you'll have an idea of just about where everything is. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps, and I look forward to seeing you all hopefully on campus sometime soon. Take care. And in here, you will find all of the spaces where most, if not all, of the design practicums meet. And there's also classes for